Supreme Court didn't settle anything. But you make AUL makes a very, very precise legal argument that this is an unsettled decision, not only Roe, but the 1992 case of Casey, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, that these are unsettled decisions. Tell us, Katie, first of all, what that means legally, and why is that an important argument to the court at this point in time?
Well, you're absolutely right. Both the Supreme Court justices who decided Roe, as well as the New York Times and so many elites in our country, wanted the discussion to be over. They knew they couldn't win in the legislatures, and so they went straight to the court. And as you said, the New York Times said this is settled. However, we argue in our brief that this issue is radically unsettled because 50 years later, we're still talking about it. We're still arguing about it. And so in our brief, we really go into the details of that. The fact that the justices have never really seemed to agree on the constitutional grounding. What part of the Constitution gives us a right to abortion? The word's not in there. And even, pro-abortion stalwarts like Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg have repeatedly said things like, well, I would get there a different way. I wouldn't have done it the way that these justices did. So there is not a strong foundational basis for abortion in the Constitution. There never was, and there certainly isn't now. And we saw questions about this even during the confirmation hearings of Justice Barrett, where, she was being asked repeatedly about Roe, and they said, do you think this is super precedent? And she said, the fact that you're asking me these questions suggests that it's not. You aren't asking me questions about Brown v. Board. You aren't asking me questions about Marbury versus Madison. You're asking me questions about Roe v. Wade because this is still up for debate. And so whether you look at polling, whether you look at scholarship, this issue has not settled. It never was. And that was the great folly of the justices. They tried to force a mandate on Americans, and for 50 years, we've said no.